Do you like my flowers? I mean, I always sit here. When I'm writing, I think I better get some flowers out and sit there and write, because you've got to think about your aesthetic environment. Speaking of aesthetics, not prosthetics, aesthetics. This week, well actually probably last week by the time you see this, but they actually have outmoded signing for your credit card. The banks have deleted it. Which is sort of, I don't know, it just seems really impersonal, because I don't know, it's this whole thing of like not signing and actually just using numbers. And numbers just seem like, kind of formal, like they've got no romance about them. There's nothing lovely about a number. I often wonder, in the future, if they actually, because they're sort of talking about actually outmoding the whole idea of this signature altogether, which is, to me, is a little bit like getting rid of your fingerprints. Because it's the one thing that identifies you, and it's sort of not really, clearly, it's quite easy to forge, isn't it? A signature, really, isn't it? Because you just, can do it. But that's not the point. I mean, I might, at some point in my life, need to take on another identity, and it's much easier sort of, learning someone else's signature than trying to guess their PIN number, because you only get 3 goes. I can't even get my own PIN number in 3 goes sometimes. The signature is, I don't know, what I like about this signature is this kind of an old-fashioned way of being identified through this signature. I don't know, like, it doesn't really mean anything. Like, you go to somewhere and you'll sign for something, and it's not like, the retail assistant or something's done like a TAFE course in handwriting analysis, and they go, I'm sorry, we can't actually have to decline this purchase because the loop on your G just seems to be marginally larger and actually not exactly what it should be. I mean, they don't do that. I just like how it's kind of like that, though. I like that feeling. It's kind of, I don't know, it just seems a lot looser than this whole world of PIN numbers and all that kind of crap that we're moving into. I mean, I just wonder how people will sign autographs in the years to come. They're going to, if there's no signatures, it'll be like, 24217, lots of love, good on you from 3756. I mean, it's just like, oh, it's horrible. I don't like it. It's just, the signature is kind of like, you can tell a lot about a person by their signature, because you can see, are you like a big florally person that does, people that do all this kind of like, they'll go, oh, it's not working now. Like, they'll just, like that. Or are you like a little feathery person that's sort of a bit like that? Or are you a kind of a dot dash, those people like that? Like, you're going, what was that? Clearly you must be so busy to be doing that. That's like a really fast one. Doctors got like that. They couldn't even bother this. Or like that. I mean, it's really hard to actually do that. The other day, it's funny, my 19-year-old daughter was actually signing something, and she looked at a signature, which is quite conservative looking, and she goes, is this my signature now? And I went, well, yeah, that's your signature. You've been doing it for a while now. It's like on all your important documents. She goes, really? Because I made this up this is what I was signing when I was 13. I didn't even make it up. I went, wow, because, you should have. You should have come up with a signature, because you got to develop a signature. That's what it was like for me anyway. But at the same time, you get pubic hair. It's around about the same. It's a developmental time. You've got the same sort of, self-consciousness about it. The same sort of, oh, is this the right thing? Is this okay? Am I all right? I do remember actually being taken aside in business principles in year 9 when I was about 13. And we had a whole class devoted to coming up with a signature. And we were instructed it should be something that is actually, fits within the little boxes that you're given, is actually not able to be forged, and is able to be repeated by you all the time. And I just remember sitting there thinking, oh my God, I felt like an adult. Like, I have a signature. I have something of mine that I can put on things, And I remember trying to work out, because, my name is Amanda Jane Nolan. They said use your initials. I was called Mandy Nolan, but clearly my official name was AJ Nolan. So I had to come up with a way of doing like AJ and a Nolan or Amanda Jane. And I didn't like any of that. So I came up with a signature where I kind of go like that. Now I've shown you how to do it if you're going to forge. It doesn't matter, you can't forge anyway. So that's the A, and the J is kind of there. It's very 80s, this signature. See how it's like that? I would never do that now. And then I just go like that. That's O, L, and that's A-N there. Now that took me like about a week to come up with. I was really happy with it, because I thought, oh wow, that's how I do it, like that. I forgot my own signature. I got a bit lazy. But I thought that was really clever. I hate that signature now. It's really kind of wanky. It's not even wanky, it's stupid. It's like it's made up by a child, and I have to wear it as a woman. But I kind of like that. It reminds me of what a dickhead I used to be. But I actually don't even just have one signature, because I'm also, that's my official bank signature. that I have for the bank, and I do it for my, in the license, anything financial. That's Amanda Jane, and I have a different personality. That signature is part of the me that is actually completely different. I'm actually really kind of nice, and I probably wouldn't swear. But Mandy Nolan, however, I mean, I couldn't sign on that as Mandy. Mandy Nolan is like a whole page. This is Mandy Nolan. How big is that? That is Mandy Nolan. That is the big signature of Mandy Nolan, the author, the comedian, the person that signs stuff. It's nothing official. I just sign posters and things like that for people that want a poster signed, just in case I ever die and become remotely famous outside of the Ballina Byron region. But, that's the big ones. I have the big Mandy Nolan, the big flourishy kind of, oh, I'm so out there. And then I have the little tight kind of, I will pay that account. Like, that's my other one. It's really small. I don't see that one. People, open fill those forms in, they say, which person are you? Do you have any other identities? And I don't feel like it's any of their business that I have this sort of slight identity crisis between the two sides of me. I'm like, well, fuck off. It's not your fucking problem. It's mine. And it's not even like it's two identities. It's two facets, which I think is different to identity. So I'm still Mandy Nolan, clearly. And I am Amanda Nolan at the same time, just because I am a little bit different and have two different signatures and sometimes even two different accounts. I don't think that counts for another identity. I just, it's not like I'm wearing a fake mustache and glasses or anything like that. Anyway, I just want to reiterate to young people out there that it's really important to get a signature. If you're an adult with a young person, really get them practicing their signature at about 13. My son doesn't even have a signature. I've had to say, go in your room and come up with a signature. I mean, it's really important to have things, having a little bit of you that you can go and sign stuff with. Until, of course, you just become a number, which isn't very far away. So do something retro. Signatures will be like vinyl. Everyone will want to have one. See ya. I just love the sound of it. It's a nice sound, like a pen scratching across paper. You don't get that when you use a number like this.